All right, we are live at Jeusus Farm with your host, Levite Khan. Welcome to those of you who are live with me and those of you who are pre-recorded. Today we're reading Genesis chapters 41 through 45. That being said, I'll take a swig here of coffee. Okay, and we'll get this reading going. Let's see what we can do here. All right, let's just delve right into it, folks. Chapter 41. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. Just so people know, I'm sure a lot of you do, but the ones who don't, kine is like cows and other types of cattle. K-I-N-E, it's an archaic word, but it works. All right, verse 4, the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamed the second time, and behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. Welcome and shalom to Wilfred Litsky. Glad you're here, brother. Verse 8. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream. And there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in word in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, an Hebrew servant to the captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream he did interpret. And it came to pass as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. And Pharaoh sent and called to Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself, and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kine did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored as at the beginning. So I awoke. And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears, withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, and there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. God hath shewed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty years blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh, what God is about to do. he showeth unto Pharaoh, behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that, excuse me, my tongue again, I'm lack of teeth. And for that, the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. Okay, before I continue on to verse 35, obviously 1/5 is 20%. I wish I could say 20% of what we do. That'd be nice. But anyway, I'm not going to get into much yet. I'll wait and finish this chapter, and then I'll do some explaining here. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the land of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be restored to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God has shewed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the 2nd chariot which he had. And they cried before him, bow the knee. And he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphanath-Paneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On. And Joseph went over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh, and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years the earth brought forth by handfuls. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. The food of the field, which was round about every city, laid he up on the same. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much, until he left numbering, for it was without number. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God, said he, hath made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And the 7 years of plenteous that was in the land of Egypt were ended, and the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said, and the dearth was in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread, and Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, go unto Joseph, what he saith to you, do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses, and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all lands. Oh, hey, welcome and show. That's all 57 verses of chapter 41 of Genesis. Now, welcome and shalom to Haas and Wilfred. Or I did Wilfred already. Sorry. Okay. So, glad you're all here. Okay, I'll do some explaining. It made sense. I mean, the wine cupbearer to the Pharaoh forgot his. He said, "My faults are proven to me. They're being manifested to me because you forgot." But this is where Elohim's timing is just right on, because if you think about it, before that, if the cupbearer would have told Pharaoh at that time about his and the late chief baker's dreams, it wouldn't have meant anything to Pharaoh. He didn't get his 2 dreams yet. Anyway, I got not an injury, I mean, just a little poke. Anyway, I hope I cleaned it out well enough. I had something sharp, like a nail or something. Anyway, so it made sense that the timing was perfect, where Pharaoh had his dream. God gave him 7 years of plenty to do it wisely. He was giving him a sign, and obviously Pharaoh nor his magicians and all those heathen people couldn't interpret it. And that's when Joseph could come into the picture and save his family and the future tribes. Millions of people throughout, all the way to this day, even though most of us are scattered. Makes sense to me. I've read some of that commentary in the past, and I've had to do some pretty heavy duty studying. This is very simple stuff. I like it simple, to be honest. But so that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it put him in a position, all those years of pure persecution. He made Potiphar's house prosper. He stuck to his guns and went and sinned with Potiphar's wife. Strong man. I mean, good discipline there. I have to hand it to him. And then he goes to prison. And he does all right in there. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he didn't like being in prison, but he had a good life there. Really, he was put in charge. I mean, how many county people in jail and in state and in federal prisons can you trust to do all that, right? He stayed consistent, folks. So I just wanted to get into some of that. And there will be some reconciling coming here for the better. All right, chapter 42. Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, Why do ye look one upon another? And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither, and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he said, Lest peradventure mischief befall him. See, before we go on to verse 5, again, Jacob, he just didn't learn his lesson with favorites. What are you going to do? I mean, what to do. We all are flesh. We all are weak. We all have our flaws. What can you say? Yaakov was no exception. Continue on to verse 5. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. Well, that dream came true. They bowed down to him, just like his sheaves in the dream with his brothers. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed to them, and said unto them, Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are all one man's sons. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with their father, and one is not. And Joseph said unto them, That is it that I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved by the life of Pharaoh. Ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely ye are spies. And he put them all together into ward 3 days. And Joseph said unto them the third day, This do, and live, for I fear God. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses, but bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so. And they said one to another, We are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child? And ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. And he turned himself about from them and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. And they laded their asses with the corn, and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the end, he espied his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth. And he said unto his brethren, My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, What is this that God hath done unto us? And they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, The man who is the Lord of the land spake roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, We are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father, one is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Lord of the country, said unto us, Hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother unto me. Then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So will I deliver you to your brother. So will I deliver you your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And my eyes. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob their father said unto them, Me have ye bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not. And ye will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. And Reuben spake unto his father, saying, Slay my 2 sons, if I bring him not to thee. Deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to thee again. And he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in the which ye go, then shall ye bring down my grave hairs with sorrow to the grave. Okay, that's all 38 verses of chapter 42. Okay. Yeah, that's not a solution, is it? I remember one of the movies I've seen of this, where Reuben offered, to slay his 2 sons, and Jacob would be sarcastic, Yeah. Oh, yes, just leave it to you, Reuben. Is that your way of carrying on the family name? Yeah, pretty stupid. Pretty stupid offer. But they were passionate. They were zealous. That's the Hebraic way, ladies and gentlemen. So, what can he say? Yeah. Oh, is Dan on live tonight? I guess he is, huh? Anyway, well, I'm not trying to run in with anybody. Of course, I post no thread anyway, but he's a cool guy. I've talked to him a number of times. He's all right. But anyway, they're just going to have to go by faith. And Reuben will have a talk with him next, I think, won't he? But let's go to chapter 43. And the famine was sore in the land. And it came to pass, when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, Go again, buy us a little food. And Judah spake unto him, saying, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, You shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, Wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had yet a brother? And they said, The man asked us straitly of our state and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we certainly know that he would say, Bring your brother down? And Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shalt thou require him. If I bring him not unto thee, and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned this second time. And their father Israel said unto them, If it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm, and a little honey, spices, and myrrh, nuts, and almonds. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks. Carry it again in your hand. Peradventure it was an oversight. Take also your brother, and arise, go again unto the man. And God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, Bring these men home and slay, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, Because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for bondmen and our asses. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of a sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. And other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, Peace be to you, fear not. Your God and the God of your father hath given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. And they made ready the present against Joseph. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked them of their welfare, and said, Is your father well? The old man of whom we spake, is he yet alive? And they answered, Thy servant our father is in good health, he is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your youngest brother? Is this your younger brother of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. Verse 30. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother. And he sought where to weep, and he entered into his chamber and wept there. And he washed his face and went out, and refrained himself and said, Set on bread. And they set on him, and they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Okay. The Hebrews that were an abomination unto the Egyptians, the Mitzrites, and being shepherds sure didn't help them. We shepherds, farmers, ranchers, homesteaders, call us what you will. We're always looked down upon, even though we're the most, on the average from what I can tell. I haven't done any polls on it yet. I don't know if I ever will, but we're some of the most self-sufficient, educated people on the face of this earth. And we're, from what I'm looking in our gardens, I call them crops. Giver Hebrew Faith and I are going to be bringing in quite a bit. Thank God. It's been rough here. Anyway, verse 33. The garden's doing great. All right. And they set before him the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth, and they marveled one at another. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him, but Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs, and they drank and were merry with him. All right, that's all 34 verses of chapter 43. Let me look at the side chat. I think we're doing pretty good, Deb. Well, I think we'll get a pretty decent amount in. Looking like normal chat to me. I wonder what's his name's going to come back, that Lucifer Lucero guy or whatever. Anyway. I don't know what video. I mean, I looked at a channel. I think it was somebody showed me last night. I know it was. But as far as a video, I'm not even aware of it, Hoss. If you type it in there, the YouTube channel, maybe in the title, I can look it up. Anyway, before I start talking and going over a few things, I better get this reading done first. So we're going to chapter 44, and let's get the 34 verses done. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, Fill the men's sacks with food as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth, and put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, Up, follow after the men, and when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, Wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth? Ye have done evil in so doing. And he overtook them, and he spake unto them these same words. And they said unto him, Wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sacks' mouths we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of thy Lord's house silver or gold? With whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. And he said, Now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. And he searched and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they rent their clothes and laid at every man his ass, and returned to the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, What deed is this that ye have done? Wot ye not that such a man as I can certainly divine? And Judah said, What shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also with whom the cup is found. And he said, God forbid that I should do so, but the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. Then Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ears, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant, for thou art even as Pharaoh. My Lord asked his servants, saying, Have ye a father or a brother? And we said unto my Lord, We have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou saidst unto thy servants, Bring him down unto me, that I may set mine eyes upon him. And we said unto my Lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And thou saidst unto thy servants, Except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto thy servant my father, we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, Go again and buy us a little food. And we said, We cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then will we go down, for we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. And thy servant my father said unto us, Ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons. And the one went out from me, and I said, Surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. And if ye take this also from me, and mischief befall him, you shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to thy servant my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it shall come to pass, when he seeth the lad is not with us, that he will die. And thy servants shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, If I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me? Lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father. And that's all 34 verses of chapter 44. Yeah. You want goats? And we've had plenty in our past, both in Florida and then now here. If we get any kind of livestock again, or cattle, I'm thinking sheep and zebus. Zebus are basically simply what they are, is miniature cows. I don't want to really go back to goats, but you can have them there, Wilfred. Tell you what, goats can be like a bunch of drunk teenagers. They can do a lot of damage. So, but hey, goats have a purpose. Deb and I obviously know that firsthand. Anyway, I just wanted to, this is where the truth comes out now. So, Let's get this done here, all 28 verses of chapter 45. All right. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, Cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And in other words, they were in disbelief, in shock. So, anyway, verse 4. And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in the which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God, and he hath made me a father to Pharaoh and the Lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste ye, and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not. And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near. What are you doing?
What do you think he was doing?
Oh. Verse 10, and thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herds, and all that thou hast. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household, and all that thou hast, come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see in the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father hither. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck, and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren, and wept upon them. And after that, his brethren talked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well, and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Say unto thy brethren, This do ye, lade your beasts, and go, and get you unto the land of Canaan, and take your father and your households, and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land. Now thou art commanded, this do ye, take you wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. Also regard not your stuff, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours. And the children of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons, according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment. Okay, before I continue on to verse 23, obviously Joseph had more of a brotherly love. I guess in Greek it's agape, right? Or no, that agape is unconditional. I think it's phileo in Koine Greek, but I don't know the Greek all that overly well. But he had more of a brotherly love and affection and affinity for his brother Benjamin. And yet, I don't know if he was doing the right thing in this or not. I don't blame him any. I mean, those guys tried. Well, other than Reuben, he had a little compassion, but they all wanted him pretty much dead. You know, at the time when they threw him in the dry well and sold him off for 20 pieces of silver. I guess in a way, just how can you blame the guy? You know. Anyway. Oh yeah, I know what Hesed is. But anyway, that being said, folks, you notice that he's given him more of that, and Benjamin really too. He was too young to really do anything. Um, you know, so that I mean, there's other people and I try not to play respecter of persons, and I don't think you're doing it just because I have love and affection for some people over others. There are other people I can't stand them. You know how I have such an affinity for Bill Gates. Yeah. Anyway, but you get my point. Um, so anyway, verse 23. Let's get this done. And to his father he sent after this manner 10 asses laden with the good things of Egypt, and 10 she asses laden with corn and bread and meat for his father by the way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed, and he said unto them, see that ye fall not out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt, and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Israel said, it is enough. Joseph my son is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die. Hence the reading of chapters 41 through 45. Okay. Um, yeah, I'd have to say Hesed applies. I mean, why wouldn't he be more loyal and have a stronger bond with Benjamin, right? Even though he had seen him at 20 some years. I don't know how many years it had been, but yeah, probably 20 years. So obviously they were of the same father and mother. They weren't stepbrothers or half brothers, is how I should say it, like the others were technically. And again, Benjamin didn't do anything wrong to Joseph. He was too young and naive and that. Um, so anyway, trying to think of anything else that comes up here. Going back a little bit. Well, look, it's obvious that I guess I just can't get real profound tonight. Not that I need to. Joseph, there's definitely a plan there. He helped the man. He saved not only his own family, the 12 tribes, which, for a little bit there were 14, but, rather than get into those semantics, he saved the tribes of Israel, revived his favorite playing father, and revived his human spirit. And he started probably to see the error of his ways. And I mentioned that before, where he said to the Pharaoh, evil and few have been the days of my life. So, that being said, folks, what is there to say? I mean, think about it in the Gospels. Yahshua, on a human level, he loved Apostle John more so than any of the other 11. Was Yeshua wrong for that? I don't think so. He was sinless, for one thing. He tabernacled with us. He dwelt with us, obviously with them, not you and I, but um, he was born during tabernacles and Sukkot. Call it Sukkot. It doesn't matter. And he died for Pesach. So anyway, I just thought I'd point some of that out. I hope everybody's doing well, keeping themselves safely hydrated and cooled down. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, I think. If it does, we will not have to go out and water our gardens. If it does not, then we'll have to. I'm getting ready to clean my large coop here pretty soon again. It hasn't even been 2 weeks, and it's getting pretty rank. Oh man. Obviously the heat and humidity is with all 21 biddies that are in that big thing, and I got to get myself motivated enough to. Is it 25? I think you're right. Yeah, but we have to make with a quail pen, even though we don't do quail now. We've used that quail pen for chickens, and we're going to have to do it again when they get to a certain size. That large coop will not be large enough, and I need to get my skill saw out and make a floorboard deal that's adequate underneath that net stuff, for the biddies to be on, and we have to be mindful of rats and that. We had a problem with that a year and a half ago or something like that. I don't know if I'll have to put the prowler poison bars out again or not. If I do, I do. But you know, um, so we always have something to do around here. I've been wanting to get that done. I just haven't done it yet. If it rains tomorrow, I sure won't do it. But if it doesn't, hopefully there'll be enough dry time in between. I can measure it, and take out my skill saw, and get her done. No, we don't have anything to do that. What I do, simply put, is I take one of my 10-gallon buckets and I scrape it. Well, I removed that biddies, obviously. I put them temporarily into a brooder box in the barn, and take out the water container, the feeder, and the boards. And I use my scraper. I get my bucket so full and carry it back to the compost box. Now, when I get all that done with however many trips, I let it sit and air out for a little while. And what we're going to do now, because we did get diatomaceous earth, is once I am satisfied that it's been aired out long enough, is I'll put a bunch of diatomaceous earth in there, and then put the fresh shavings in. And once I have everything set back up with the feeder and water container, I'll transfer the biddies back. No, we do, but no, we don't have access to it. That's the stupid thing, Wilfred. The late owner of this property, um, he had a well going here years ago, I guess, and I know he did because I know his widow wife, and I don't know where it is. I'd be tempted to just manually dig into it. So we have to go on city water, believe it or not, even though we're 15 miles from one town and 20 from another. I don't like it. But where we are, the water is actually pretty decent, though. They have laws here right now, anyway. So, you know, but just one day at a time here, folks. I get a lot of time here to think and pray and read and write in my journals and keep track of things here and and wonder what's coming in the future. Witching cloth hanger rods. Let me look that up. Witcher. Hold on a second here. Okay. witching cloth hanger rods. Yeah, it's a real problem to get to it anyway. Let me look this up. Witching cloth hanger rods. Let's see. I'm familiar with the term, but what's this like? Different concepts. White wire coat hangers used for dousing. I don't really do a lot of that. What I do is I do thoroughly scrape and clean it. And witching, also known as dousing or divining, is a traditional practice where a person walks the land holding handheld tools in an attempt. Oh, that. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Anyway, you had me all confused there, Wilfred. Anyway, but I scrape very thoroughly. I don't just, as well as mainly using my manual scraper. I'm digging my fingers and everything in there and getting it very clean. Very thoroughly getting the old shavings out. That's all full of urine and dung and water. Chickens are slobs. They're not as bad as quail, but they're still slobs. And they're nasty animals. They're nasty fowl. Let's be honest. The nastiest fowl, in my personal experience, I've ever dealt with are ducks. And I had those ducks, and I was getting duck eggs. They were good eggs. I liked them, but I'll tell you, to keep them maintained. Oof, I was glad to sell them. I think that was well over a year ago now. Um, so, man, was I glad to get rid of them. Whack, 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 whack. Oh man. And I really didn't have. I did. We took good care of our ducks, but we didn't have the greatest setup for them either. I wanted to. We got rid of the pool thing too. Like for 2-year-old and 3-year-old children, toddlers, you get this little swimming pool. Uh, we had one of those, and we were going to have it full with water, and we never did get it set up. To where they'd be safe and not get out into the wilderness. But I did. I had water ready for them every day, a couple times a day, and that. It was what it was, and when we advertised them, or my wife did, on Facebook Messenger or whatever she did, and there was a lady and her daughter came and bought her ducks, bought the pool, and I was glad to have them off of my hands. So I'd like to get more guineas though. With the tick problem that's been coming in, thanks to good old Billy, um, I'd like to either buy them growing already or maybe hatch, incubate a bunch of eggs with guineas and have a good 20 of them running around here. And that would be the only point. They'll lay eggs too. I've eaten guinea eggs when I think about it here. I haven't, the 2 guineas I had that were good, they eventually, died or whatever happened to them. But that's the point. Guineas are incredibly stupid, but they're very efficient with pecking and salvaging things from the ground. So what you do is you grow them up enough in a coop or whatever, a pen, and as they get older, you feed them every other day, keep them hungry, and all that, and then you finally let them out on their own. And it's up to them. Now, eventually, other predators, whether hawks, falcons, whatever, are going to get to them. But and other types of prey. And I'm not just talking coyotes, I'm talking any of them, badgers, raccoons, you name it. Oh, but that's just to be expected. Yeah, yeah, rabbits are good for that, no doubt about it. But I don't really have a lot to say. I mean, a lot of things are going on. You can't trust Iran. They're Trump got himself into a stupid situation. The president who will end all wars. Yeah, right. Oh man. And frankly, say he won't send. He said he won't send any troops in. But I don't know how else you would monitor that area without troops. Not in the end. It's ridiculous. We're kind of stuck in it now, and of course, he licks the boots of Benjamin Netanyahu, which really aggravates me to no end. And that I love the state. I love the regular people, and I am all for the land. Trust me, I am. But I'll tell you what, my Jewish counterparts, I've had about enough of them. I can't stand them. What they do. So these AI data centers and God knows what else is going on. Now there's calls when Iran had that funeral, and Trump's such a nice guy to let them have their mourning time. What do? Take vows and chant death to Israel, death to America. Come on. What are you going to do? I mean, so, a lot of you know what's going on with that stuff. And I don't know. The economy doesn't seem to be much better, if at all. I told you Deb and I are trying to be self-sufficient again, but we still grocery shop once a month. We have once a month where we go and get our feed and supplies and what we have to get for our fowl and our dogs and for us to an extent. And then we have another day in the month, which will be coming up very soon. We do a little grocery shopping. And oh man, those prices are outrageous. And we're so worried about other countries when we don't have our own ducks in a row here. Trump is getting worse by the day, it seems like. At least he's keeping the borders closed. I think a trooper, was that in Pennsylvania in the last day or something? A Pennsylvania trooper was over doing an inspection or doing something. Some illegal alien that hadn't been caught yet was driving an 18-wheeler and smashed in and killed that poor law enforcement guy. They had Tom Holman on. This was on Newsmax just a little bit before I started my deal. I watched it, and so you have these so-called Democrats, or that's the type of people they want here. And now the stupid thing is we're not probably going to be able to send him back to his home country. We have to feed and house his stupid little illegal hide now. And I don't know what to think about the Charlie Kirk assassination. What was his name? Why am I brain farting again? Tyler James Robinson, isn't it? Off the top of my head. Yeah, I'm right on that. I did remember it just fine. And when they bring him to court, this guy's got almost as much security for his dumb ass as President Trump does. Maybe not quite. They're really going out of their way to protect that little maggot who shot Charlie Kirk. Oh yeah, it's a big shit show, big poop show, whatever. I probably shouldn't cuss like that. The whole thing is aggravating. we got to start something here, folks. And I'm willing to meet with people on Zoom privately, and that. But maybe we should look at later getting on a private Zoom. I could talk to another guy. He pays for his Zoom, so it's unlimited time. And maybe get together and discuss some ideas about how to get together as a community and start trying to work together a little bit more. You people let me know if you're interested, whether it's Wilfred, Haas, who else is in here? I mean, I've about had enough of this nonsense, you know. Just mainly Wilfred and Haas that I've been typing in. I don't know if Carolyn Gannon has. We actually met Carolyn Gannon, got to know her a little bit personally a few years ago. I really don't know. Oh, you telling me to call him? Are you being sarcastic there, Haas? Dan and I kind of think we've talked before. We have some similarities there, but I look at it in a practical manner. Look at the lawmakers. Look at that little bootlicker who thinks he's such a bad boy because he can golf. He can golf a good game and win an amateur tournament. So what? I mean, yeah. Hold on. All right, but what was I saying? I got distracted. I had to grab a scissors from my wifey there. That really irks me. All the security they're making for Tyler James Robinson, and it's just they're playing these games. A lot of tax money going into that, and I may not be from there, but to protect one little maggot who was in love with another man who pretended to be a woman, it just, oh boy, you know. You hear these rumors about the cabal and that, and how Charlie got himself in trouble. I don't know, maybe he did. But to sit there and put Erica, his wife, the widow now, into it, say she was a part of it, sounds to be, it seems to be pretty ridiculous to me. I think she's missing her hubby. That's just my opinion. Um, yeah, no doubt there, Wilfred. Yeah, we could shoot the shit. Um, but, oh, yeah, back to being a pragmatist here. On a practical level, man, I itch. Um, on a practical level, I mean, if they're not going to meet out the law, I mean, we have a president who acts like a tough guy and he has no sack, really. I mean, a judge overrules him and he cries like a little b-boy. I'm just going to appeal to a higher court, or I'll even take it up to the Supreme Court. A lot of times they rule for in his favor, but there are times they don't. And these judges that are doing this are illegal. They're making illegal mandates. I mean, let's give to former DOJ director / attorney general Merrick Brian Garland. What he did was wrong, but yeah, go ahead, go into Mar-a-Lago, former president's house, go into so and so who's a Trump supporter. Just do it. They did it. I mean, I doubt Biden had much, if anything, really to do with it. He was out in La La Land by then. Anyway, he wasn't even right to go into the first place. But oops, hold on, something came up. Okay, and now former FBI Director Christopher Asher Ray puts in a kill order, or another way to say it would be an open fire order if there was any resistance at Mar-a-Lago, whom Donald Trump so stupidly appointed during his first term. During Trump-Pence, he appointed Christopher Asher Ray. I don't know how many of you know that. Well, you do now, for sure. Oh, I know. What a bunch of pervs, huh? Yeah. You know what I do? I'm a typical homesteader sometimes too. I'm outside or whatever, and I'm out in the woods or I'm doing something. You know how we don't really want to run back inside the house and use the restroom? We just, I mean, that's typical farm style. I mean, I wonder if they're watching that from satellite. I think to myself, well, if that's what turns their teeny little weenies and cranks, uh, if they're watching. I don't think they're watching everything all the time. I think they have access to almost everything most of the time, but they're working on it. Think about it though, guys and gals, if there's any women watching. There shouldn't be any more problems with Amber Alert, should there? If some young child or baby or whatever gets kidnapped, they should be able to track down that kidnapper within minutes. Now, if the kidnapper got a good start, maybe a few hours, but they should be able to get that done. Just, um, you know, I would think, right? I mean, I tell you guys about how 16, 17 years ago I used to do that with those, and they weren't flock cameras then, but the one on Central Avenue in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the way I'd go across purposely when the light was red and stick my middle finger up and show my face. I mean, those are good cameras. I mean, like I said, they never did pursue me. They never sent me any tickets or come knocking on my door at the time. But with all the surveillance, you would think kidnappings really shouldn't be much of an issue anymore. Um, I have this odd feeling that it still will be because they don't care. That's not, they could care less about some child. When you're that high up and you're a psychopath, and you're a psychopath, and you're incapable of feeling for others, and you're demonically driven, they probably don't care about some peasant's child very much. But you know, um, I just, are they all dry in there?
The rugs are.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not.
Well, that's why I can finish air drying. So, I don't know. I just don't have really any desire to look into any of your bedrooms. It's none of my business. I really don't care. Um, I've never understood the tyranny. I've studied it off and on throughout my life. The history. When I listen to Mark Wayne Mullen go back and forth um, with Representative Rosa DeLauro, the 83-year-old who has her colored hair, looks pretty ridiculous, and it's getting pretty heated. And she started with about how many children were missing in a different situation, and of course, Mark Wayne Mullen did the right thing and confronted her on how she never said a word with the 450,000 children that went missing under the Biden-Harris administration. But when she talked about having her 2-year-old grandchild on her knee, okay, thanks for stopping by, Haas. Have a good sleep, and hopefully you'll have a great shift at your job. So, but that's what the Nazis did. They could bounce their children or their grandchildren off their knees and go to the gas chambers the next morning or day or whatever, and had no problem with murdering children and their parents and whatever, and old people. And I just that's what we're dealing with there. I think you can't tell me people like AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Rosa DeLauro, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters. I mean, Jamie Raskin, etc. You can't tell me can't convince me they're any better. That's what they're about. I think. But the tyranny, I guess if I was to be in charge of a bunch of people, and I have been put in charge of certain numbers, at a job or whatever, whether I wanted it or not. I couldn't see. I've had to get on people. You have to have a type of DNA, a personality to have the balls to deal with and confront situations, and I have that. I don't especially enjoy it, but I've had to help fire people, but you want, at least I wanted a good work environment, and I put somebody where I thought they would excel, even if they sucked at it at first. You train them in, and you have a good work environment, and where they're content and want to do a good job, and you have a lot of production, good quality production, and you think you'd want that if you were a real autocrat, and even more so if you were like a king or a queen. And I mean, look at what look. I'll tell you what. You want to see communism come in full front? Look at New York City. Ooh, oh boy, not good, not good at all. But you know what? They got what they voted for. So, I mean, they're running out. I mean, power outages. People are getting hot. I don't know how many people are going to die this year. It's not a good situation. New York is done. I don't know if they'll ever make a comeback, and that's the sad thing. They probably won't repent. I promised them all this stuff, free grocery stores, and and look at it. Everybody's out there suffering, and while he enjoys good air conditioning and good food, while the power outages in the stores, the food is spoiling, and what a mess. Oh, Bertal, hold on. My wife's towel that she laid out, it fell on the floor, so I put it on there a little bit more stably so it can finish air drying. Anyway, I mean, there's a lot of bad things going on. New York is done from what I can see, you know. But the thing that's scary is, well, a couple things that are potentially really bad is, one, New York is a world port stop for both importing and exporting worldwide. It is. That's going to affect all of us. And I suspect it already is. But two, the other thing is that if it's that infectious, because there are a lot of little, well, they call themselves social democrats, whatever the hell that means. But they're winning all these small positions in various areas of the nation, and it is spreading like a very contagious disease. So anyway, well, hopefully Elohim will protect you and I. I really meant what I just said, though, a few minutes ago. You guys want to get together and just discuss and shoot the shit on a private Zoom. I will talk to a friend of mine about using his room, and I know he'll say he'll be fine with it. Once in a while, he comes and chats in here. I think he did, or I know he did the other day. And of course, he'd be a part of the conversation. He has a lot of experience and wisdom. I think he's 10 years older than this old man is here. So anyway, I don't really have a lot more to say, folks. For me to start putting up, and I will do this,
It's all part of the agenda.
I know that. I know it's all on purpose. That there's it's what is that particular term I'm brain farting on? Anyway, I know it's on purpose. Even though I think Mom Donnie on a personal level is too stupid to know what he's doing, to understand it. But I'll continue, I'll do my research, and I'll probably even do a specific live stream where I don't do the readings, and I'll show you some things like I've done in the past, some articles and some clips of videos and that. So anyway, folks, you all take care. Continue to be very cautious, very mindful of the weather, of the heat. All right. I appreciate you guys being able to come up here. Don't let me find out that you're dead, that you heat stroked, that you went into that seizure. So keep your heads on swivels. There's a lot of threats going on out there. People that haven't been picked up yet, that might be part of a thing that came in. You know, when you go out to events, Kevin and I don't really do that. But, you know, you want to celebrate certain things to this nation that are fine, do it. Just take careful measures and be prepped, be ready. Right, folks, continue to read your Bibles. Trust in Elohim. Peace. Shalom. The Levite man, he's out of here.